Hi everybody and welcome back to Dragon Eye Creations. If you're new here, my name is Laurel and I love to create. One of my favorite things to create is gnomes. And of course, it is almost Easter time, so we're thinking of Easter bunnies, but I like to do things a little different, so I came up with the Steampunk Easter Bunny. I made this guy and I just loved how he turned out. I was so happy with him and I wanted to show the tutorial, and because of technical difficulties, the difficulties being I'm not good with technical things, it did not work out. So I was back to crafting to make these two lovely guys, just so I can show you guys how to make a steampunk Easter bunny. There is a lot to these guys. These hats take a little time. They're not hard, but they take some time. So you're going to sit back and relax. And we're going to get started right away because there is so much to go through. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with one Tropicana juice jug. And we're just going to make our bottom flat because it has that little dent in it. So we're just going to take a piece of scrap cardboard, trace around our jug, and then cut around that. And then we're going to take our little piece of cardboard here and glue it directly to the bottom. If it sticks out a little bit, just make sure to trim that. You don't want any edges sticking out. For our fabrics, you can use whatever you want. I have tablecloths, I've got pieces of curtains, whatever works. And now we're just going to wrap our jug up, so make sure you have enough to go all the way around the jug. And then we're gonna cut it because we don't need it that big. We're just gonna cover about 3/4 of our jug. So make a strip of hot glue all down the side there, and then just attach it to the jug. And then wrap it right up, just finishing with some hot glue. We're going to just fold down that edge there just so it looks nice, and then hot glue that down just so you have a nice seam there. And then run some glue all around the edge there, and we're just going to gather that together right at the top. You're not really going to see that piece, so it's okay if it's kind of gathered-y. I'm not sure if that's a word, gathered-y. Sure, it is today. So now we're just going to make his pants for this. This was also a curtain that I'm cutting up actually. And we're going to just, again, make sure we have enough to go all the way around him. I'm going to now fold down the top just so it looks nice again. And we're going to start right at the back, the same way we did for the top. And then wrap that all the way around. And we're going to finish it the same way by a strip of hot glue, fold down your edge, and then glue it down to the bottom part there. Okay, then we're just going to add a little hot glue right at the bottom of that, just around the edge, and then just fold down the edges of our fabric. For the coats, we are going to use a piece of fabric. The square I'm using is about 15.5 by 11, and it is just a black scarf from Dollarama, a furry scarf that I found. And then I'm just attaching this long strip of blue minky. It is about 52 inches long by about 3 inches wide, and I'm just going to wrap that glue that all the way around the edges of my coat, good side to good side. And then we're going to flip it upside down, tack it down so it's nice, so the fabric side is nice there, and we're going to wrap that fur right around there and glue it to the back side now. Just a strip of hot glue and then wrap that right around. And for this one, I didn't have as long of a piece. I wanted to show you can use smaller pieces. So I did it in 3 pieces instead of 1 long piece. Just doing the bottom strip first and then the 2 side strips. Just gluing them down, good side to good side, fold over, the same way we did the other side. And now we're going to start just a little ways down, about where it starts to have that dent there really good. That's where we're going to attach our coat right at the back. So we're going to find the middle of our coat and hot glue it right to the back of our guy. And then same at the front, we're going to add some glue right to the front and the middle, and then glue our corner pieces down. And now we'll just glue that all up and gather it the same way we did our piece before. We want to gather it a little nicer this time, just because you might see a little bit of that. Next, we are going to take some hair foam rollers. These are just from Dollarama, and I'm going to take the wires out of them, and then I'm going to mark down 5 inches long on them, and then trim them down. This is for our arms. Next, we're going to take that same black fabric, cut a piece that is big enough to fit our roller in. And then we're going to add some trim to the bottom the same way we did our coat. So good side to good side, flip it over and glue it down. And we're going to do that on both pieces here. And then we're going to add a strip of hot glue at our foam hair roller and start wrapping it up. Trim off the extra. Same thing, hot glue, wrap it up, finish off with hot glue, trim it off. And then we're going to take our wires and we're going to cut off the ends, just those little curly bits. We're just going to cut those right off. And we're going to poke them back into our arms here now, leaving about 1/2 inch sticking out at the bottom. And then put some hot glue in there just to keep it where you want it to be. Next, we're going to take a tool that we can poke a hole with. So I'm using a clay tool here that we can just make a hole for where we're going to poke our arms in. So this I'm just putting right where the juice jug itself kind of dents in there, right at the first little point there. So I'm just going to poke a hole and then I'm going to poke that wire right in there, adding hot glue to it underneath the coat and on top of the coat. So poke that wire in, add some hot glue underneath there, poke it through and then hold it. Add a little hot glue at the base of it as well. And then just really push it in there and hold for a while. Next, we are going to make the collar for our coat. So I am taking this wide piece of Minky now. This is about 15 inches long again. And now we are about 4 inches wide. And I am just going to glue down all the edges all the way around on that one. And now I am taking this lace shirt that I found at the thrift store. And I'm just going to cut off this ruffle here. And then I'm going to cut off a little piece of lace from the bottom. You can really use any lace or whatever you want to use for this. This I saw and I just thought it would work perfect. So now I'm just going to glue the two pieces together. And then gather them at the top just to make this nice little lace puff for him. And now I'm just going to add this little metal dragonfly that I found that I thought these will look really cute on it. So just E6000. For all of our metal pieces, we're going to be using E6000. It holds metal better than the hot glue does for sure. So now a little hot glue behind there, kind of tuck it in under the coat. And then we're going to take that collar that we made, if I can find it, and just wrap it around our guy there. Same way we did the coat again. Find your middle, add some hot glue at the back, and then just add it directly to the back of him. Add some glue in our top corners there, right in the front in the middle where we want it to land. And then hot glue all along the inside there and kind of pinch it and gather it. Same thing on the side, hot glue around the edge, and then pinch it and gather it all together. And for the other one, I kind of did it a little different and I just made some trim around the edge the same way, and I made it the same color as the coat itself, just to show you a little variation of something else you can do. For the hats, guys, now we are doing the hats. Okay, so you can use the bigger to-go cups or you can use the smaller ice cream ones. I don't have the bigger ones right now, unfortunately. So I'm going to add a couple pieces of the bigger ones that I've cut off before when I wanted smaller ones. That's the way it works in a small town. You can never get the ones you want. So I'm adding anyways a couple extra pieces because I want my hat to be a little taller. Now you don't have to do that. With this one here, I just did the 2 ice cream cups on top of each other. So whichever way you want it. Now I'm going to take these craft foam sheets and we are going to cut many squares and rectangles, all different kinds. Now these, we do not want them to be perfect, so do not make them perfect. We want some angles in there too. Just kind of hack away at them till you have a whole bunch of them. And now I'm cutting out in cardboard a 7.5 inch circle that I am going to curl up the ends on. Just the 2 sides, we're going to curl those up. And curl down the front. The back too, just slightly, the front more so. And now we're going to take the taller cup that I made and I'm going to add some hot glue to it, place it kind of in the middle but slightly more towards the back. And now I'm going to do that with the second one. I just used some thinner cardboard here just to show you again a variation. So it really depends on what you have and what you want to do it with. And now we are going to start gluing on our little foam squares. And we're just going to start gluing them all over our hat, overlapping. Make sure they're overlapping all over. If you do have some gaps, don't worry about that though, that is fine. It's all going to be covered up. And for around the brim, just go so it covers the whole thing, and you can trim that all off later. It's easier to trim it later than to try to make it fit, trust me. For the top, I used just a plastic lid that I had that came with the to-go cups. If you don't have a lid, you can cut out a circle in cardboard as well. Now I'm going to just cut a hole in the bottom for a spot to put our jug into. Just make sure you cut it big enough to fit your jug on. And then we're going to start on the bottom as well with our little foam squares. Trimming that again all the way around. Once we are done getting all our foam squares on there, we are going to take just some Mod Podge. And I'm going to add this black paint. This is actually Black Mars. It's kind of a gray brown kind of black. I really like it for this. And now I'm adding some heat. I am going to add some heat to this just to get those pieces to kind of curl up, and it kind of melts it just slightly. And then we're going to take an aluminum foil ball and just roll it, just pressing it all over. This textures the foam as well as sticks it back down because that hot glue starts to raise up a little bit when we add the heat. And now you will see that it does make some gaps when we do this, but that is okay because we are going to go in with our black paint and Mod Podge that we've mixed together, and we're going to cover our whole hat. The whole hat. So we just have done the top of the hat so far because I remembered, oh yeah, I actually want to put all these little stickers on. So we are putting these little stickers that I just got at Dollarama, and we're going to put them all over each of those squares, just along the end trim. You can put them closer together if you want. I did on the other one, but I decided I liked the look a little bit better of them spaced out a little bit more. So now go get comfy, and it will take a while to get them all done. So it's covering the whole hat now. So now we are going to go back in with some black paint and Mod Podge once again. We're going to put our first coat on the underneath part of the hat. I did about 3 coats on the whole hat to get the whole hat covered completely. Next, for the legs, I'm using this cardboard tube. This is from the inside of wrapping paper. This is a really heavy duty one. It is quite stiff. So I am going to cut now 4-inch long pieces. Trim them down so they are nice and flat. Again, 4 inches long. And then we're going to cut our fabric so it's about the same length. This is the same fabric we wrapped around the bottom of our juice jug. And we're just going to hot glue our cardboard tube and roll it up into our fabric, finishing off with some hot glue, trim it off, and then tuck in your ends at the bottom with some hot glue once again. Same thing on the other leg, hot glue it down, roll it up, finish with a hot glue strip, roll it up again, trim it off, tuck it in. Next, I'm going to use these paper bathroom cups. They are a little too tall though, so I'm cutting them down about 1/2 inch down on each one of them. If you don't mind them being a little taller, you don't have to do this step. It's really up to you. But I'm just going to cut those down all the way around. Same thing on the other one. Now I'm going to take these Easter eggs. They're not as small as the ones I usually use, but not as big as the ones we're going to stick in his hands. I'm hoping that helps you with the size because it really has no sizes on these things. So I'm just going to now glue these paper cups and Easter eggs to a piece of scrap cardboard once again. So just glue them right down. Put the Easter egg right in front of your paper cup. The paper cup glued down. Take your Easter egg and glue it right in front. And then we're going to trim around. This was a lot thicker and harder cardboard than I thought it was. So it was a little hard to trim around, but you're going to trim around the best you can all the way around the whole little booty there, just so it resembles a shoe form at the bottom. Kind of a figure 8 shape is what you get. And next, to cover our booties, I am taking a strip of fabric. I'm using the same as I did for the trim for the first guy there. And I'm just going to put a strip of hot glue right along the bottom and then right along the side there, and then just roll up our booty all along, just so it's right along the bottom of the boot. And then a strip of hot glue right along the back to finish it. Some glue on the top of the egg. Attach your fur, and then some glue all along the inside and tuck it all the way around. And then you're going to need to add a little glue right at the front to pinch that piece together. And then we're going to take some hot glue all along the bottom of our leg there and push it down inside our boot. Make sure you have lots of glue on this. I know it looks like I'm using a ridiculous amount, but I really want to make sure this is sealed all the way around. Next, we're going to take some pebbles, and I'm going to put a few pebbles, about half a little mini solo cup full in each one. So they're all about the same. And now I'm going to top that off with some sand. So about a quarter full of pebbles, and then about 3/4 will finish it off. So it's about 3/4 completely full now. With sand, we're going to just pour that in there. We're just adding some weight because with those big hats, these guys can be quite tippy, so we need some weight. And now just finish it off with a little bit of polyfill. Add some glue to the top, turn upside down, and attach it to that same brown fabric again. Make sure it's really attached all the way around, and then trim around the top of it. Same thing, just glue it down. Make sure it's really attached, trim around it. And then we are going to glue those to the bottom of our guy. So I'm going to add some hot glue, but I'm also going to put some E6000 on there just because I really don't want these legs to come off. So we're going to then add that. Make sure you get them where you want them to be because they are going to be stuck there. So again, hot glue and some E6000 on there, and then push it down. Now our hats are all dry, so we're going to go over them with some copper metallic paint. We're going to dry brush that. Just clean off your brush nice so it doesn't have much on there at all, and then just lightly go over that. It's just going to pick up all those little grooves, and it's going to show off that texture we put in there. This just makes it look so nice. And then we're going to take some silver metallic paint, and we're going to go over that again, just dry brushing it really lightly. But we're going to just do the edges now, just the very edges of all those pieces. My husband over at Dark Matter Crafts taught me how to do all this kind of foam work. He is really good at that kind of stuff. Make sure you check out his channel. For my Easter eggs, I did those the same way. I just glued down the foam pieces to some plastic Easter eggs, went over it with the black Mod Podge, and now I painted them the same way. For my faux fur, this is faux fur that I got actually from Walmart. They were throw cushions that I got that I cut up. And that's really great because then you can use the polyfill as well. So this is one bunny ear that I cut out of paper that I am now tracing onto my faux fur. It is about 7 inches long at the highest point in the center there. So trace out 2 of those ears. You're going to now take a knife and just cut the back of this fabric. You don't want to cut the actual fur because we want that nice and long fluffy fur. So just cut the backing there, cutting right around that ear that you traced out. And then just kind of pull it away. Next, for the insides of the ear, I am using this pink fabric. This is a scarf that I got from Dollarama that I am now going to trace that same ear onto. And now when I cut it out though, I'm just going to cut just on the inside of that line. So it's slightly smaller than my first ones I cut out. When we are done cutting those out, we are going to hot glue down the sides of our ears. On all 4 pieces, we're going to do the faux fur pieces and the pink pieces. Just gluing down the sides. Don't worry about the bottom right now. I just want to glue that back, fold it that back onto the bad side, I guess. And then comb it out when you're done to make sure your fur is not stuck into the glue. Same thing with our pink ones. And then we are going to hot glue the back of those, and we're going to attach it right to the white faux fur, or cream color faux fur, whatever, our faux fur. And then add a little hot glue right at the bottom, pinch it together, add a clamp just to hold it. Same thing on our other ear, hot glue the back, attach the two pieces together. For this one I did need to trim off a little bit at the bottom, and then just hot glue it and pinch it together again. Now for the mustache, I cut a 6-inch long strip. It is about 1 inch wide. Parted it in the middle, combed half one way, combed half the other way. For the black one, I cut a 4-inch triangle shaped beard. And then I started on the trim for my hat. For this, I just made sure it was long enough to go all the way around the hat. And then I'm going to hot glue the sides down, meeting in the middle at the back. Deciding where I want the ears to go, we're going to add some hot glue, press firmly, add some hot glue to our strip of minky there, and then we're going to wrap that all the way around our hat. Right at the base there, just trying to get it right all the way around, as tight as you can to help hold those ears up. Next, we're going to add our little adornment pieces here. For this one, these are some little sunglasses that I just got from Amazon. They're considered pet sunglasses, actually. And I'm just going to cut the arms off of those. We're going to add those right to the front. You can add really whatever you want. I then took some little steampunky pieces, whatever I wanted. I added one of those little dragonflies again. To this one, I put a chain around it. Like, really, guys, it's whatever your imagination wants you to add. I also added little pieces to our Easter eggs. Next, I'm going to add some fur all the way around. Not all the way if you need to, just some scrap fur. So we're going to add some pieces of scrap fur just around the bottom piece of the arms there. And now we're also adding our polymer clay hands that I've made previously. I will leave a link in the description on how to make these. Some more fake little fur that we're going to add to the bottom of his legs, so it looks like it's coming out of his boots. Just some scrap pieces you can put here and there. You can put it all the way around if you want to. So next I'm going to take that mustache and we're going to add a polymer clay nose again. That'll be in the same link as the hands. And I'm going to add that right to the middle of my mustache with some E6000 and some hot glue. And then we are going to hot glue that mustache right onto the top of our guy. Next, we are adding hot glue all around the base of our hat, making sure we got it on those little tabs on the inside, and then just press firmly on top of him. Then I attached his Easter egg to his hands with some E6000 and some hot glue, using the hot glue on the fur pieces. That helps to attach it as well. And there they are. Well, there they are. Our steampunk Easter bunnies are all done. It took some work to get these guys out to you guys. I really hope you like this tutorial. I am so proud of these guys. I really love how they turned out. I'm not sure if I like the dark one or the light one. Let me know what you think in the comments. I love to hear from you guys. Let me know if you prefer beards or mustaches or the dark fur or the light fur. Let me know if you try as well. I like to see what you guys come up with. And thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you guys so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do that so you don't miss any more wonderful creations and have a little fun while we're doing it. So thanks again for watching, guys. And until next time, love to all.